Hello again, everybody, and welcome once again to Kev's Hobby Showcase. I'm Kevin. You may have seen me before in videos from Tabletop Jones Productions presents Two Idiots Playing Board Games with me and my friend John. And we're going to be painting some more mutants today, trying to get as many ready for that nice scenario that he and I are going to put together, which is going to be called Sentinels versus Mutants. So, first one I'll show you. Now these are pieces I have not primed yet. So so the next step after I show you these will be to prime them, and then we'll just go from there. So first we have, the first one I'm doing is Emma Frost and Psylocke, and as you can see here, they got two versions of Emma Frost. Now I just want to say, these capes here, what an ordeal it was to get these to stay on. I don't know, it's like you can see in the front, I know you can't see it because it's all put together, but in the front, it was an extremely thin strip of plastic to get onto the actual body of the piece. And oh boy, did it take a while for it to stick. So many times I would let go and it would either stick to my finger or just fall off. So yeah, building them can be frustrating, but once they're together, it's an awesome feeling. And then of course we have Psylocke. Yep, our nice mutant telekinetic and telepathic assassin. So yeah, it took a while to get these put together because the pieces are very, very, very small. So a lot of it is holding it together. I haven't done videos putting these things together because quite frankly, it gets a little frustrating, and to hold it and then have it in camera shot is, for me right now, impossible. I just can't do it. I mean, maybe in future videos I'll be able to do it. Maybe I'll be able to show you me putting these things together. But for right now, we're just going to have to endure. Okay, so that is... anyway, just a little insight. There's a reason that there's two versions of Emma Frost. It's because for those of you who read the comics, you know that she has, from a secondary mutation, a hard diamond form. So that's what one of them is for. So instead of painting her like the regular flesh color, you would paint her like a bluish color. I mean, I still, I always save the box so I can use that as the color scheme. So I'll go by what the box shows and then just work from there. All right, so that's so next step would be some base coating, and then next step will be priming, and then after the primer settles in and dries, then will be the base coating. So we'll switch over to the priming, and I'll be right back with that. All right, we're back, and we're going to be priming our pieces for Emma Frost and Psylocke. So let's just take the Psylocke first. As you can see, the pieces are kind of small, so it's not going to take that much. Just spray a little bit. Make sure you get every little bit of it, though. And yeah, see, just that. Oh, actually, let's get where my thumb was. And there you go. Again, as you can see, as with the others that I've done, it's looks like it's caked on, bubbling up, but that's going to be okay because once it settles in, it's going to look really nice, and the paint is just going to stay very good. Now, I'm going to do Emma Frost. Now with her, there's two versions of her. Just for those of you who read the comics know, she has a diamond form. So one of these is going to be that, whereas the other one will be her human form. Because they want to do, oh my god, the wind keeps shifting on me. And that's it. So again, like with before, it looks like it's looks like it's too much, but it's going to settle in and it's going to look just fine. So that's that. See, the priming doesn't take all that long, especially when the pieces are small. And so next is the base coat. So stay tuned, and that's what we'll get back to the painting. Okay, we're back, and we just finished priming Emma Frost and Psylocke from the Marvel Crisis Protocol game, and as you can see, it's settled in quite nicely. I mean, when the primer goes on, it does look like, that it's basically going to bubble up and all that, and it does look like that. And I remember the first time I put it on, I felt like I was panicking, but it does settle in. You just got to give it time. You know, one thing about I've learned about painting is, you know, with these minis, is sometimes you just have to put something down for the day, and just let it set, and just go back to it like the next day. I mean, I know, trust me, I know the feeling of impatience of wanting to just get a piece done, especially if you got a game coming up and you want it done for that game. Believe me, I understand, but sometimes if you, it's just better to do it. It's just better to wait. It's just where you don't mess up. You know, I've done plenty of that. All right, so anyway, let's pretty much get to it. And take the box up here. So as you can see, do it without glare. There we go, without glare. So as you can see, there's two versions of Emma Frost. One is basically her in her human form, and the other one, they made a secondary mutation for her, which is her diamond form. I don't have a light color blue, so I'm going to be using the regular blue, so she's going to come out a bit dark on that one. And as you can see with Psylocke down here, she's got her psychic swords. Well, one of them is a psychic blade or whatever. That's what I mean, if you remember from the comics, if any of you who read comics with her in it, she always had this psychic blade that came out of her hand, and she would kind of jab it into someone's head and just totally mess them up. So, you know, it's a good offensive weapon. So we're going to get started on this. I got most of the, you know, the main colors out. We're going to hit Emma Frost first because with her, it's white right from the start. We're going to do the costume first, and then we're going to color in the flesh tones after. And Psylocke, it's going to be blue, which is pretty much the same thing. I'm going to color most of her with the blue, because some of the you know, some of the costume, it's little strips of fabric, and then you got the, so I'll be coloring in the flesh tone afterwards. So let's just get to it. Let me put on my handy dandy device here. Yeah, trust me, it's a lifesaver. Otherwise, I'd be hunched over all the time. All right, let's get down to the workspace. Okay. All right, now with Emma Frost. So, gotta go by. I'm going by the box, and basically this is the piece where it's going to be the diamond form. As you can see, the base is going to be different because she's standing on like a broken emblem of the Hellfire Club. Because those of us who read the comics know she is the White Queen of the Hellfire Club. All right, so let's get the black. Black. The totally opposite of what I just said. Let's get the white out. Now, this nice flowing cape. Let me tell you, this nice flowing cape that I'm going to color first, or I should say paint. I don't know why I keep saying color. Anyway, this was an absolute bitch to get on and stay on, because there's a little bit here on the front. It's nice, this thin strip of plastic that fit onto the body of the piece. Let me tell you, that was so difficult to get to stay because it's like so freaking tiny, and it took a lot of tries before I finally got it to stay. Yeah, it was difficult. So many times I thought I had it staying. I would put the piece aside, and then little by little I would see it just start to slide and fall off, and you know, so easy to just start cursing and you know, have to angrily do it again. All right, I'm not gonna worry about putting white paint where I don't want white paint, because I'm just gonna go over it. One thing about white though is, like, when you have to paint over it with another color, generally it doesn't mess up. There are exceptions to every rule, of course, but generally it doesn't mess up. All right. Now the base is going to be a bit different today, because when I do the base for her, for both versions, because both versions are doing the same thing, when I do the base, I'm going to do it a gold color, because I do imagine that the emblem for the Hellfire Club, since they were a nice symbol of opulence. Excess of money. I do believe that their emblem would be done in gold. Alright, so this is going very quickly, but realize that I do have to do this twice. And I know the first video I did where I was painting the Sentinels, yeah, I know that was quite a long video. I did not realize it was going to be an hour and a half long until I finished putting it together. But the reason it took so long is because those pieces were so big. Most of these pieces are not that big. So it will not take as long. I was almost done with this. We may have to go over this again. Hopefully not too many times. Alright, so that's Emma Frost diamond form. Now her human form. Alright. Yeah, so what I was saying before about this nice flowing cape of hers. So, difficulty I had getting it to stay. I realized I had to do it twice. One for each version of her. So yeah, that was annoying. Okay, it just makes me wonder, for the people who designed this, did they have to at some point put the pieces together? I think it should be required that they do, so they can know what they're about to put their customers through. Alright, because she's got one arm up against her head, there's going to be some white paint where I don't want white paint. But we're going to paint over that later. Okay. Alright. So, any of you who watched the video of me painting Bishop and Nightcrawler, I am doing this on the same day. Taking my Saturday and just getting, all this done. Because that's the only way I'm going to get a lot of these videos out, because I do work, and during the work week it's not easy to get any of this work done. Trying to build the foundation of this channel now, so that in a couple years, when I'm eligible for retirement, maybe I could actually go instead of having to stay longer and do this for the rest of my days. But also, another thing that I'm doing that I really should get back to, because I haven't done it in a while, is I do write science fiction stories. I don't know if I've mentioned this already, but if I haven't, I self-publish through Amazon. So everything that I have written so far is available on the Kindle and also on paperback. I don't have anything offered as a hardcover just yet. Of course, I'm waiting for something to be worthy, you know, long enough worthy to be hardcover. Okay, so there we go. Base coat's done for Emma Frost. And let's clean the brush. Let's put the white paint away. We'll keep it around though in case we got to do any touch-ups. And we'll take out the blue to start on Psylocke. Okay, let's get a good brush for this. That's a good brush as any. Alright, so as I was saying, you know, I do write science fiction stories. I basically, I gain, you know, with all the stuff that I've read and you know, that I read and that I watch, has given me a lot of inspiration to write my own stories. We're basically going to be going over a good portion of this piece with the flesh tone, so I'm not going to worry about what I get right now. So anyway, as I was saying, so I have 3 books available right now. They're not connected. They're not like a trilogy. Each of them stand alone. First one that I put out was a story that I wrote called Sleeper. And this is something I actually wrote years ago, back in like 2010 or 2011. And so when I wrote it, you know, I finished it. When I finally finished it, I really didn't know what to do with it. So you know, I was looking for basically anywhere to, you know, to put it, you know, to try to put it out as a story, to try to, you know, see if I can sell it, you know. And you know, I didn't submit to any publishers at the time because, you know, I was an unknown. I'm still an unknown, to be honest, but I didn't think I would be taken seriously. So I decided to try to do self-publishing. And there were a lot of different sites for self-publishing, but they required you to put up a lot of money up front. And one day at an event at, you know, Comic Book Jones, my favorite comic shop, I was talking with a guy who wrote the comic Mice Templar, which is actually very good. If you ever get the chance, you know, you should look it up. His writer's name is Brian Glass. And he had said to me, "Is like if someone is asking you to pay for them to print your book, then something is wrong." I was like, okay, I pretty much agreed with that. And he also gave me advice as to what to do with the story at the time, because at the time I wasn't finished yet, and then I was talking with him, and I didn't know where to go from where I was. So, but anyway, so I eventually put it out as a Kindle book, but I didn't know what to do with it, so I didn't really make any money off it. Alright, so that base coat on Psylocke is done. Let's clean the brush. Okay, so we got the base coats for both done. We're going to let that paint dry. Alright, just get that off my head. Alright, so we're going to let that paint dry. And when we come back, we're going to do, we're going to start on, I guess, details. You know, getting, you know, the body parts that, you know, that we haven't touched yet. And, you know, we'll go from there, alright? So stay tuned, and I will be right back. Alright, welcome back. We're going to continue with painting Emma Frost and Psylocke. So let's just get to it. And I'm going to start with Emma Frost. Okay, down to the work area. Alright, so we'll take this one first. So we have the white coat down. On this one, though, we're going to need the blue, because this is her diamond form. Alright, let's get that out. All right. This helps if I turn the light on this. There we go. Ah, much better. Okay, so we're going to get up here first. Alright. So this is a darker shade of blue than they show on the box, but we're going to make it work. So as I was saying, before I was done before, so yeah, so like I was saying, I have the books that I have out. That was, I was talking about Sleeper. Well, around the same time, I wrote a story called Shadow Man, which has nothing to do, or in no way similar, to the Shadow Man from Valiant Comics, which I didn't even know about. That I never saw that until way after I wrote Shadow Man. So it's and it is a superhero type story. I just had an idea for like a whole universe of superheroes, where basically, very X-Men-esque, where the superheroes were being basically prosecuted, but it was kind of nefarious thing where a fascist type organization was the one doing it, basically trying to ruin the heroes financially and force them all into hiding. And then, of course, they took over everything and kind of ruling over everybody. Yeah, so I've even said, I think I did a promo for it on the other channel that I'm involved with, which is the one I do with my friend John, which is Tabletop Jones Productions, because I've done a couple of, well, I did a promo for, oh darn, I have to go over with the white. I got a little bit of blue where I need the white. Anyway, so yeah, I did a bit of a promo for it on Tabletop Jones Productions, and one of the things I don't know if I said it, but one of the things that I feel with that one that I made is I wanted to create a superhero universe that would make Stan Lee proud. Not to rival him, but to make him proud. Alright, so, I got to do the touch-up on that little streak of blue that I inadvertently put. But, it's darker than what it showed on the box, but hey, it's standing out. It's standing out a lot. Alright, so let's put that one down. Let's clean the brush. Alright, let's put the blue away. We may not need them. We'll keep it around, but we shouldn't need it anymore. We got the flesh tone to get the other Emma Frost one. All right, so this one we're not gonna go over the hair, just the face. All right. So yeah. So the Shadow Man story, I actually never put that out until just recently, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. Wasn't sure what I could do with it, because, and it's a very short story, so I was trying to figure out what to do with it. And then at the time, overtime picked up, so I kind of put all the writing on the back burner. But I did start a whole bunch of different stories at the time, and just when I started getting into it again, I actually found them. And I was like, oh, look at this. I forgot about these. And I actually did forget about them. So, and it's like, it was like 5 stories that I had started but never finished, including a sequel for Sleeper. So, eventually I will get to that, but right now, well, first actually what I did was, there was a story I thought of I called it the Christmas Rift. And when I mean by rift, I don't mean like personal conflicts between people. I meant like a rift in time and space. And it happened around Christmas time. That's where the main character gets sucked in, and he's basically gone from one Christmas to the next one, which is why I called it the Christmas Rift. So that one is out. I wanted to get it out before last Christmas, but it just didn't work out that way. But it is out, and it is available on Amazon. All right, so here we go. Got that nice skin tone there. We'll let that dry a bit, and then we'll do the hair. And we all know Emma Frost is a nice, beautiful blonde. All right, so now we'll do Psylocke. Okay. Now Psylocke is going to be interesting because her hair is purple. So that's going to be an interesting color to put for hair. I may have to go back in there with blue. Or not. Alright, so yeah, so like I said, I had wanted that story to come out around Christmas time, but it just didn't work out that way. I may have to touch up on blue with this, because I think I'm getting the flesh tone. I think I'm getting the flesh tone in areas where I really don't need it. Alright. So let me Alright. One thing that's making it just a little bit difficult is sometimes with the darker colors, it's a little bit tough. See all the bumps that you want to paint around. Alright, so I'm starting to get it now. But we're probably going to have to do a number of touch-ups on this one. Yeah, definitely going to have to do a number of touch-ups on this one, especially with the blue paint. Okay. All right. Not too bad. I mean, I will have to do a little bit of touch-up, but not too bad. All right, so we got the skin tones in. I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break here. Let this paint dry. All right. Let's get the brush. coat of paint. All right. Okay, so let me get this off. All right, so we're going to let that paint dry, and when we come back, we're going to finish up putting up the little details into these pieces. So stay tuned, and I will be right back. All right, we're back, and we've given the paint some time to dry, and we're still working on Emma Frost and Psylocke. So let's get to it. Let's get this on. Point you towards my workspace. There we go. Okay. So we're going to start with this one. We're going to do the blonde hair. Okay. All right. Let's get. Yeah. So, anyways, I was talking about with writing. I'm working currently on a story that I started, calling it The God Slayers. Now, for any ultra-religious types start getting an uproar started, it's a story about aliens who are basically falling victim to another group of aliens who are posing as gods. So this has nothing to do with God. You know, this doesn't mean that I'm anti-God or anything, because I am not that. I talk to God every day. But one thing I had to do was to very, very carefully make sure I didn't make my story very similar to Stargate. And I think I pretty much did a good job of that. Excuse me, did a good job of that. All right, so the blonde came in good with the hair. For the hair, looking at the blonde, the yellow. So I'm going to put that aside. All right, let's clean the brush. Now, almost forgot I have to do a touch of the white, but I'm going to do a little bit more with the white. Let's see, what's a good... Trying to pick a good one here. As good as any. Alright, so let's get this one back over here. We're going to go over the white, just to make sure that... Oh boy. Okay, that was the wrong brush to do. Blue on it, and it's starting to spread the blue on on this piece. So let's switch to something totally different. There we go. That's much better. Remember, mistakes can always be fixed. Let's get a little bit extra on it, and there we go. Just so that the white stands out a little bit more. Okay. Now, on this one, I do need to do a touch-up because I got some of the blue where I didn't want blue, so let's just touch that up. And let's get the white to stand out better. It's standing out pretty good against what's supposed to be blue diamond skin, and being that the blue is a very dark blue, it's standing out pretty good. But let's just get it a little bit more, because I want my pieces to look good when they're out there on the board. Okay. Now, okay, So those two are pretty much done as far as the piece. Just they just need the base. Now what I want to do here, I actually want to take a bit of the white and go over this, because what I'm going to do is go over the edges with purple. I want to see what kind of effect that makes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now, when this dries and I go over it with purple, it's going to have a nice effect. So at least I think so. At least I think it will. Alright, so we should be done with the white. Alright, I'm going to use dark iron on the sword. Okay. Alright, so let's get the sword. Alright. Now, when I do the base for her, I'm just going to use dark gray and everything because this is all supposed to just be rock. So we're going to leave it. So we're going to do that. And now let's see. Let's get the hair because the hair is purple. Oops, excuse me. Actually, we're going to wait on the hair. We're going to wait on the hair, and we're going to do touch-ups with the blue. We're going to have to do that very delicately. Yeah, there we go. And at this point, the way I feel about it is the way it looks is the way it looks. Because you can just keep going over and over and over all this stuff. And all you're going to wind up with is a big glob of paint. Alright, so let's try to find another nice small thin brush. I think this one will have to do. Okay, so let's put the blue away. And take out the purple. Okay. So first let's just do the hair, get that out of the way. Okay. Okay, alright. It's coming out nice. So anyways, I was talking about before. So yeah, like I said, I'm working on a story called God Slayers. And still in the works. And basically it's like I gotta battle an old computer that I'm using because it doesn't always cooperate. But I'm going to try my darndest to win that battle so I can get the story out. I got 5 chapters written. I have another 5 chapters plotted out. Alright, let's see. The white is relatively dry. So here's what we're going to do in the white. I'm going to get the edges of all of this. Because in the comics, when she's using her psychic blade, it always looks like it's crackling with energy. Alright, let's get that here. Alright, we're just getting the edges. We're not getting the whole thing. I was going to do the whole thing, but then I changed my mind on that. Okay. Alright. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I'll let that dry. Okay, let me clean my brush. Okay. Alright. Okay, so we're going to let all that dry, and when we come back, we're going to do the bases, and then all we have left after that is the wash, and then we're done. Alright, so stay tuned. I'm going to let this dry, and I'll be right back. Okay, we've given all that paint some time to dry. We're going to start on the bases now, so let's just get to it. Alright, I'll get you down to my work area. Alright, we're going to do both Emma Frost first. Okay, so I'm going to do that Hellfire Club emblem first. We're going to take out the gold. It's actually called Gold Leaf. I don't know why they call it that, but that's what it's called. Alright. So like I said, Hellfire Club is basically a bunch of rich people. So I imagine their logo would be gold. Alright, filling in nicely. But it also has the look that this emblem is laying on the floor, cracked and broken. So once the gold paint dries, well, maybe we may not even have to wait for that too much. Kind of get around it. Well, let's see. Let's get around here first. Well, this one here, we'll get around it with probably a metal color, because it looks like a metal grating. Alright, so got that one, so now we're going to get the other version of Emma Frost. So these are their small bases, so to do it doesn't really take all that long. Well, one thing that will help is if I put my light on. Oh, my. Oh, it's amazing how much you could actually see when you had the light on. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Okay. And this one here probably take the dark gray underneath it. So we're going to let that gold paint dry while we work on the base for Psylocke. And for that, I'm going to use dark gray because it's all supposed to be rock anyway. Alright, let me get out a good brush without knocking anything over. Whoops. Sometimes I get a little too ahead of myself. And when I think I have a grip on something, I actually don't. Alright, so let's get in here with the rock, with the dark gray. Just get all this in here. Alright, looks like it's got spots on it that should be metallic, now that I actually get a good look at it. So maybe I'll go back with a metallic color in a little bit. I'm sure, as you can see, got a bunch of the paint on my fingers. But that never upsets me. It's like I always say, and you've seen the other videos I've put out, know that I say, if you see me and I have paint on my fingers, you know it was a good day. Because I do enjoy painting my minis. Sometimes it's a little fun when I talk to people who don't have this hobby, where they have no idea what I'm talking about when I say my, painting my minis. They give me this strange look, like, what the hell are you talking about? And I have to explain it to them, like, oh. And I could tell, even though they're saying, oh, they still don't get it. That's okay, because it's not for them. People who are this is for, they know. We are a special breed, right? Now that I look at it, there may have been a bunch of pieces, a bunch of spots here that could have used the metallic color. Now let's see, did I just... Okay, good, I didn't. I had a horrible feeling that I just wiped out a bunch of that purple paint for the hair. Alright. So, gave this a little bit of time. And now we're going to finish off at least one of the Emma Frost pieces right now. Just need to get the outer part of this, because the rest is that gold color that we just used. Alright. Just got to be very, very careful that you don't put too much pressure on the piece when you're holding it like this, because the last thing you want to do at this stage is to break it and have to reassemble it. And I've been in those spots where, either I was using the piece or just, I was like using a piece in the game, or I was, or just, painting it, like now, like almost finished, about to have that sense of accomplishment, and then next thing you know, you got to almost start over. Alright, so this Emma Frost, I don't have to do this, I guess, but I feel like it'll just look better, because this part of it does look like a metal grating. So I'm going to get it with it's a flat aluminum color. And you know, when they put out these bases, usually have a bunch of options, and one of the options is it's like this steel grating and brick. So first I'm going to get the steel grating part, and then I'm going to get the brick part. Okay, that's the steel grating. Alright, so let's just put her down. Well, actually, before I do anything, let me put her aside for now, let that dry. We'll look at Psylocke, because there is some parts of this base that look like it could be electrical components. So let's just get a couple of that, a couple pieces of that. Not too much. Yeah, not too much, not too much. Just a little bit. And we're gonna, whoops, gonna wipe that. And we're gonna put this away. And I thought I was done with the red, but I was mistaken because I like to make the bricks red. Alright, so let's get this Emma Frost back out again. Alright. Use this brush since it's already got red all over it. And do this ever so carefully so we don't have to redo the gold. And that's it. Alright. So let's clean this. One thing that's always important that not a lot of people talk about is the cleanup. Alright, so we can put these colors back because we are done with them. Okay, let's get that off my head and tilt you back up. Okay, so basically we're done. Well, with one exception, a wash. So we're going to let all this paint dry. When we come back, we're going to do the wash, and then it's all done. Alright, so stay tuned. I'll be right back. Alright, we're almost done. The paint is dried, and all we have left to do is the wash. So let's just get on to it. Put this on. Alright, let's tilt this down to my workspace. Oh, I should have put these away already. Alright. Take a brush for the... Alright, we're almost done with this bottle of wash. Alright. So, let's take this one first. Alright. Just going to go over her lightly. And I think I've said it before that I don't really have brushes small enough to do facial features very well. And honestly, I don't know if I have a steady hand to do facial features very well. So when I do the wash, that's usually where some facial features come out. Alright. Well, with this exception on this leg, I think I got the desired amount of wash out. Oops, I got a little bit more on the feet than I wanted. Alright, let's get more of the wash on the base. And there we go. That's one down. And now we go to Emma Frost in her diamond form. Let's do it. Alright. That's my tendency to put just a little bit too much. Now it's not going to show up a lot on the blue, but on her costume, which is pretty much all white, it will show up quite a bit. Alright. Alright, so can we really load up, oops, get a little bit more on the leg than I wanted, like I did on the last one. You'd think I'd learned my lesson, but apparently not. Anyway, so we'll get the base just all done up, and there we go. See if I can wipe that off. All right. So when the pieces are white, it is a little difficult to judge sometimes how much of that wash you need, and sometimes it just, you could just get more naturally on it. All right, now for Psylocke. Let's try to get a little bit on because we want to get that face to show up. Okay. And honestly, if you're going over the piece, if you're doing a whoops, if you're doing a wash on the piece and you feel like it's not showing up all that much, I would say it's not a big deal, because you don't want it to just you don't want the wash to just take over the piece. Because that's what some of my pieces kind of look like. It's just like the wash just took over and there's just too much of it on there. But this one actually is finishing off quite nicely. Okay. And that's it. As far as the wash is done, put that away and put this away and put that away. Okay, so let's get these pieces ready to be shown off a bit. All right. All right, so not too bad, not too bad. I mean, maybe a little bit more on the wash than I would have liked, but otherwise, not too bad. All right, so we are done. We're done with Emma Frost and Psylocke. And it's a good chance, although not guaranteed, that we will see them when John and I do Mutants vs. Sentinels for Tabletop Jones Productions, when we play Marvel Crisis Protocol, which should be coming up soon. As far as us playing, when the video is out, that's another story. I don't know how long that's going to take. But, you know, so now we have more mutants to throw into the pot. And these aren't the only ones that I have ready, because you know, long before I was doing these videos, when they first started coming out with the X-Men characters, I was getting them. So I have a good number of mutant characters to choose from, and you know, so it should be quite the battle once we really start getting into it, and we're gonna have a lot of fun, because that's really the point of all of this, is to have fun. I mean, what good is a hobby if all you ever do is get angry and frustrated? Okay, so yeah, putting these things together can be frustrating. But when you get to the painting of them, that's when everything, you know, really just starts to get really fun, and because it allows you to get creative. You can do whatever you want, you know, with the pieces. So that's it for today. Sorry, stumbling on my words. That's it for today, and hope you all had a good time watching me paint Emma Frost and Psylocke. And you know, catch me again. I mean, I know I have other pieces to do, and I even have some BattleTech mechs I'm going to be bringing out very soon to start painting those as well. So stay tuned. You know, so I'll see you guys again, and thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please share this as much as possible, and you take care. All right. Thanks for watching.